There's a corner of France where the houses look half German, half French, and entirely unreal. In winter, when the crowds disappear and the canals grow still, Alsace feels less like a destination and more like a storybook left open. Today, we're exploring Colmar and Eguisheim, two villages that quietly blur borders, centuries, and cultures in the softest season of the year. Let's slow down and explore. Colmar feels almost staged. You turn a corner, and there it is, timber-framed houses leaning slightly toward one another, painted in soft pastels that somehow don't look artificial. Mint green, faded rose, butter yellow. In summer, these streets are busy. In winter, they exhale. The canals move slowly, reflecting wooden beams and shuttered windows, like a painting that forgot it's real. This district is known as Little Venice. It's a grand name for a modest canal, but in the quiet of winter, it earns it. Boats aren't gliding through anymore. Instead, the water mirrors the stillness of the town itself. And what strikes you first isn't grandeur, it's intimacy. Alsatian houses are not subtle. They're built with exposed timber frames, dark wooden beams crossing over soft plaster walls, sometimes forming geometric patterns that feel deliberate, almost decorative. But these weren't built for aesthetics alone. The beams are structural, functional. Many of these homes date back to the 15th and 16th centuries. Imagine that for a moment. These walls have stood through wars, shifting empires, revolutions, industrialization, and now tourism. And yet, in winter, without crowds, they feel residential again. You see curtains drawn, flower boxes resting empty, a bicycle leaned quietly against a doorway. It doesn't feel like a museum, it feels lived in. If you listen closely, you might hear something interesting. French, but with a softer rhythm. German, but not quite. Alsace has its own dialect, Alsatian, rooted in Germanic language, but influenced deeply by French culture. For generations, families here have moved between identities. French passports, German traditions, French cuisine, German surnames. It's not tension you feel today. It's layering. The architecture carries it. The food carries it. The street signs even carry it. This is Europe condensed, borders blurred by time. There's something about winter light in Alsace. It arrives low and lingers. Shadows stretch longer. Colors appear warmer against the cold air. The half-timbered houses glow softly in late afternoon. their pastel tones deepening as the sun lowers. It's not dramatic, it's gentle. And in that gentleness, you begin to understand why artists have been drawn here for centuries. Colmar was the birthplace of Frederick August Bartholdi, the sculptor who later designed the Statue of Liberty. Perhaps it's not surprising. Living in a town that feels sculpted might inspire a life of sculpting. If you visit during the Christmas season, Colmar transforms. Wooden stalls line the streets. Mulled wine warms cold hands. Lights hang between buildings like constellations brought down to street level. But outside the holiday rush, winter still carries a quiet trace of festivity. You pass bakeries selling Kugelhopf, a traditional Alsatian cake, lightly sweet, shaped almost like a crown. There's the scent of bread in the air. You step inside a small shop and the floor creaks slightly. This isn't curated nostalgia, it's continuity. Just a short drive from Colmar lies Eguisheim. If Colmar feels like a small city, Eguisheim feels like a village, someone sketched in a medieval manuscript. The layout itself is unusual. The streets form concentric circles around a central castle. You don't walk straight here. You spiral gently inward. It's disorienting in the most pleasant way. You're not navigating, you're wandering. Eguisheim doesn't reveal itself all at once. You round a curve and another row of timbered houses appears. Balconies overflow with dormant vines. Shutters frame windows symmetrically. Cobblestones echo softly underfoot. In winter, the village feels hushed. You might pass only a handful of people. And that's when it feels most authentic. Because this isn't a performance. It's just a place. Eguisheim claims to be the birthplace of Pope Leo IX, born here in the 11th century. That's the kind of fact that feels distant until you're standing in the village square. The buildings aren't grand cathedrals, they're modest homes. And yet, history radiates quietly from the stones. You begin to sense that Europe's story isn't only told in capitals, it's told in villages like this, places that survived by staying small. Alsace is also wine country. Vineyards stretch across the rolling foothills of the Vosges Mountains. In winter, the vines are bare, skeletal lines across the landscape. But even stripped of leaves, they shape the terrain. The Alsace Wine Route connects dozens of villages like Eguisheim, each with its own variations of Riesling, Gewürztraminer, and Pinot Gris. In colder months, tasting rooms feel more intimate. You sit indoors, warmth pressing against the windows while the landscape outside rests. Wine here isn't loud, it's crisp, precise, reflecting the region itself. Traveling in winter changes how you move. You're less rushed, you linger longer, you notice textures instead of chasing landmarks. In Alsace, that rhythm feels natural. You don't need a checklist, you need time. Time to walk slowly along a canal. Time to look up at carved wooden beams. Time to sit in a quiet cafe and watch condensation gather on the window. Rick Steves often says the best travel moments aren't the biggest, they're the smallest. Alsace in winter proves that. There's a sound here, or maybe the absence of one. No car engines echoing through narrow streets, no city rush, just footsteps. A door closing, distant church bells. You begin to realize how rarely modern life gives you this. A town where nothing is competing for your attention. And for a moment, you stop competing too. Look closely at the houses. They lean slightly. They aren't symmetrical in the modern sense. They carry imperfections. That's part of their charm. Modern buildings aim for precision. These homes aim for endurance. And endurance has texture, cracked plaster, weathered beams, faded paint. Nothing is trying to be new. Everything is simply continuing. As the evening settles, the villages change tone. Windows light up softly from within. Lanterns glow against the blue of early night. The canals darken. The air grows colder, and something about the scene feels suspended, like you're inside a memory rather than a present moment. This isn't spectacle, it's atmosphere. It would be easy to call Alsace picturesque, but that word can flatten a place. This region isn't just pretty, it represents continuity. Cultures layered rather than erased. Architecture preserved rather than replaced. Villages scaled for walking rather than traffic. In a world accelerating constantly, places like this slow you down by design, and that slowing isn't passive, it's restorative. Eventually you leave. You drive away from timbered houses and curved streets. The Rhine stretches nearby, quietly marking the border, and you realize something subtle. Alsace doesn't overwhelm you. It stays with you, not because it dazzles, because it feels balanced. French and German, historic and lived in, charming but not theatrical. In winter especially, it becomes something rare, a place that doesn't ask you to rush, and maybe that's the real luxury of travel. Not distance, not spectacle, but finding somewhere that reminds you how to move more slowly. Until next time, this is Travel Tales Studio.